Hello everyone. If you are anything like me, always carrying a few too many questions about how this universe actually works, then today's mystery might surprise you. Have you ever stood still on a quiet morning and wondered how it is possible that our enormous planet is spinning at tremendous speed, yet everything around us feels completely calm? No trembling under our feet, no roaring wind from the motion, no sign at all that we are riding a world that never stops moving. And that is exactly where our journey begins tonight. The first clue lies in something almost paradoxical. Earth is spinning incredibly fast, but it does it with a level of smoothness that borders on perfection. At the equator, our planet rotates at a speed of over 1,000 miles per hour. That number feels unreal when you say it out loud. Faster than a jet, faster than most storms, faster than anything we experience in daily life. And yet, there is no sensation of movement. It is because this enormous motion is unbelievably steady. Earth does not jolt. It does not wobble suddenly, and it does not speed up or slow down in any way that our bodies can detect. Our inner senses, tiny instruments inside our ears and brain, are built to notice changes in speed, not speed itself. When motion is perfectly constant, those systems go quiet. To them, constant motion feels the same as no motion at all. Imagine sitting inside a smooth, silent train that travels in a straight line without shaking. After a few moments, your body forgets it is moving. The Earth creates a similar effect, but on a scale far beyond anything humans can build. Its rotation is so uniform that every tree, every ocean, every breath of air moves in sync. There is no difference in motion for your senses to catch. No sudden shifts that would alert your awareness. So here we are standing on a planet that spins like a giant, gentle wheel, carrying us through space with such steadiness that we never even notice. And this calm, silent rotation is the first piece of today's mystery. The incredible smoothness of Earth's motion is the reason we feel nothing at all. Our next clue lies deep inside the human body, specifically in the delicate sensors hidden within our inner ears. These tiny structures act like the world's most personal navigation system. They alert us when we start moving, when we slow down, or when our direction suddenly changes. But here's the twist. They go completely silent when the motion is smooth and uninterrupted. Imagine stepping onto a boat that drifts across calm water. When it first pushes off the dock, you feel that subtle shift, the world tilting just enough to tell you something is happening. But once the boat glides forward at a steady pace, your senses adjust. The steady motion becomes invisible. The Earth creates this exact effect, but on a level so enormous we barely think about it. Inside your inner ear, tiny fluid-filled canals respond only when motion changes. If you turn your head, they swivel. If a car speeds up, they lean. If a train brakes suddenly, they rush in a new direction. But if something moves smoothly, perfectly steady, they stop reacting. They treat it as if nothing is happening at all. This is why you do not feel a plane cruising at high altitude. The moment of takeoff, yes, you feel the push, turbulence. Definitely. But once the aircraft reaches its steady speed, your senses switch off. You could close your eyes and imagine you are floating in still air. The Earth's rotation works the same. It is so consistent, so free of sudden changes, that our bodies do not register it. To our senses, constant speed equals stillness. As long as the rotation stays smooth, our inner navigation system remains quiet. No alerts, no warnings, no hint that we are traveling faster than any vehicle humans have ever built. So while Earth spins beneath our feet at incredible speed, our bodies interpret the experience as perfect calm. And that subtle silence, the absence of any detectable change, is the second key to understanding why we feel nothing at all. If the first two clues explain why our bodies stay silent, the third reveals why our surroundings feel perfectly still. The reason is beautifully simple. Everything around us is moving with Earth, at the exact same speed, in the exact same direction. We are not standing on a spinning surface, while the air or the buildings remain still. We are part of one giant synchronized motion. Think of it like sitting inside a gently rotating carousel that is the size of a planet. The trees, the oceans, the mountains, the atmosphere, the clouds, your desk, your phone, even the chair beneath you, they are all on the same ride, turning together, because nothing around you moves differently from you. Your senses have no reference point to compare, and without comparison, motion becomes invisible. Picture yourself inside a car cruising smoothly along a highway. The moment you look out the window, you know you are moving because the landscape slips by. But close the windows, surround yourself with soft light, and remove any sense of passing scenery. You could sit there for minutes, even hours, completely unaware that the car is speeding forward. Movement only becomes obvious when something else moves differently. On Earth, there is no outside scenery for comparison. The air rotates with us because gravity holds the atmosphere close, pulling it into Earth's spinning embrace. Buildings and cities sit firmly on the crust, which turns like a giant platform. The oceans follow the rotation too, flowing not because Earth is spinning, but because winds, tides, and currents shape their movement. In this synchronized world, there is no rushing wind from Earth's motion, no dragging effect, no sense of being pulled sideways. Every object, every breath of air, every living thing is locked into the same steady rotation. And because everything moves as one, the spinning becomes silent and invisible rhythms, shaping every moment of our lives without us ever noticing. This perfect harmony, this shared motion, is the third key to understanding why the Earth can spin at breathtaking speed, while our world feels completely still. As we follow this mystery deeper, we uncover a truth that feels almost too simple. You can only feel movement if something else moves differently from you. Without contrast, motion disappears, becoming a quiet backdrop we never notice. Imagine standing on a river that flows so gently and so evenly that you, the water, and the boat beneath your feet all drift in absolute unison. Even though you are moving, there is no sensation of drifting, because nothing around you breaks that harmony. No shifting wind, no sudden pull, no jerking change in direction, just smooth, silent motion. This is exactly how Earth carries us through space. Because everything is rotating together, our bodies, the air, the ground, The oceans, there is no opposing force or counter-motion for our senses to detect. No rush of wind striking your face. No sideways pull trying to tip you over. No pressure building in your ears. Nothing that whispers, "You are being moved." If Earth were spinning and the atmosphere stayed still, we would feel it instantly. Winds would roar at unimaginable speed. The world would shake and tug in ways you could not ignore. But that is not our reality. Gravity binds the atmosphere to Earth's rotation, allowing the air to move with us, as if stitched into the planet itself, with no relative motion between us and the world around us. The rotation becomes perfectly hidden. It is the same reason you do not feel the world orbiting the sun, or the solar system drifting through the galaxy. These movements, vast as they are, happen so smoothly and so uniformly that they escape our perception entirely. What we call stillness is often just perfect coordination. When everything around you moves the same way you do, motion has nothing to reveal itself against. And so, the great spinning of our world remains invisible, felt not through sensation, but understood only when we step back and see the bigger picture. As we peel back the next layer of this quiet mystery, we meet a force so familiar that we almost forget how extraordinary is gravity. It is the invisible hand that keeps our feet on the ground, our oceans in their basins, and our atmosphere wrapped around the planet like a protective blanket. And just as importantly, it keeps everything anchored while Earth spins beneath us. Gravity is constantly pulling us toward the center of the Earth. It does not push. It does not snap. It simply holds steady, unwavering, patient. Because of this constant pull, the spinning of the Earth never feels like a force trying to fling us away. In fact, the pull of gravity is far stronger than the outward push created by Earth's rotation. The balance is not even close. Gravity wins effortlessly. Picture yourself on a spinning playground ride. When it begins turning faster, you feel your body being pulled outward. That outward pull exists on Earth too, but it is tiny, so tiny that gravity overpowers it by a huge margin. What could have felt like being tugged sideways is instead softened, absorbed, and neutralized by the weight that keeps you grounded. This is why we do not lean, tilt, or drift as the planet rotates. Gravity locks us into place, holding us with a strength that feels natural, almost forgettable. Yet without it, the world would become unrecognizable. Oceans would spill outward, air would rush into chaos, and balance, the calm, delicate balance we live inside, would vanish. Instead, we experience a world where everything remains steady, not because the planet is not moving, but because gravity makes that motion gentle to us. It shapes our sense of down. It defines our orientation. It keeps our bodies aligned with the planet surface, no matter how quickly it turns. So while Earth spins with immense speed, we never feel the pull of that motion. Gravity wraps around us like a quiet guardian, turning what could be chaos into peaceful stillness. And this invisible force, steady, constant, always present, is the fifth key to understanding why our spinning world feels so calm. Now we arrive at a clue that often surprises people. If the air around us did not rotate with Earth, every moment outdoors would feel like standing in a hurricane. But the reality is beautifully different. The atmosphere does not stay still while the planet spins. Instead, it moves with us smoothly, silently, and almost perfectly in sync. Think for a moment about what wind really is. Air moving relative to the ground. If Earth were spinning beneath a motionless atmosphere, we would feel a colossal rush of air tearing across the surface at over 1,000 kilometers per hour. Trees would bend, oceans would roar, and life would be impossibly chaotic. But none of that happens, because gravity does not just hold us to the ground, it also pulls the air toward Earth and gently tethers the atmosphere to the planet's rotation. When Earth turns, the air turns with it, layer by layer, from the surface up through the vast dome of the sky. The atmosphere becomes a traveling companion, rotating as one enormous, fluid shell. That means there is no giant blast of wind created by Earth's spin, no rush, no roar, no sign that the planet is moving underneath us. Everything moves together in a shared rhythm. It is like being inside a sealed room on a spinning platform. If the room turns with you, the air inside does not whip past your face. It feels perfectly still. There is motion happening, yes, but there is no relative movement between you and the air, so your senses stay quiet. Of course, wind still exists on Earth, but not because of the planet's rotation. Winds come from temperature differences, storms, pressure changes, and seasonal cycles. The rotation of Earth does influence how wind curves and flows, but it does not create the overwhelming forward rush we would expect from a spinning world. Instead, what we experience every day is calm, a stability so normal and gentle that we rarely think about it. The air, like everything else in our world, has joined the planet's steady, ancient turning, another hidden detail that keeps the Earth's vast motion invisible to us. As our journey continues, we uncover a clue that lies in the very shape and size of our planet, a detail so enormous that it hides the truth in plain sight. Earth is unbelievably large, and that vast size plays a quiet trick on our senses. Even though the planet spins at tremendous speed, the surface beneath our feet is part of a huge, smooth curve. That curve is so gentle that we barely notice it. When something is large enough, motion spreads out over such a wide distance that the movement feels soft, almost flat. Picture standing on a small spinning disc 1 meter wide. Every rotation pulls you sharply from side to side. The curve is tight, the motion is obvious, and your body reacts instantly. Now imagine standing on a disc so wide that its curvature stretches far beyond the horizon. The motion is still there, the rotation continues. But the shift becomes subtle, so subtle that your body simply can't detect it. This is Earth. Our planet's circumference is more than 40,000 kilometers. That means the same rotation that would feel rough on a small object becomes smooth and stretched across an enormous space. The result is a gentle, slow arc too broad for our senses to read. It is similar to being on a massive Ferris wheel. A tiny wheel jostles you with every movement, making the rotation obvious. But a giant wheel moves so gradually that you might not realize you are rising at all unless you look down. The motion has not disappeared, it is just spread out over a distance too great for your instincts to interpret. Earth's size creates the same effect. Over each rotation, the surface curves only slightly beneath you. No sharp angles, no sudden shifts, no dramatic tilt, just a slow, majestic turn that unfolds across a planet so huge our senses interpret it as complete stillness. This is the seventh clue. The bigger the world, the softer the motion feels, and because Earth is vast beyond imagination, its rotation becomes hidden, quiet, gentle, unnoticeable, unless we learn how to look for it. As we move deeper into this quiet puzzle, we reach a truth that feels almost poetic. We do not feel Earth's rotation because our bodies grew up inside it. Every creature that has ever lived, every ancestor, every early organism, every step in our evolutionary story was shaped on a world that has always been spinning. From the very beginning, life formed in an environment where day turned to night and night turned to day in a steady, predictable rhythm. That 24-hour cycle became the heartbeat of the planet. Tides rose and fell with the pull of the moon. Light and darkness danced across the surface. The rotation of Earth was not a disturbance, it was the backdrop to everything. Over billions of years, our biology adapted to these conditions so perfectly that the rotation faded into the background of our senses, our internal clocks, our sleeping patterns, our hormones. Even the rhythms of plants and insects, all are synchronized with Earth's smooth turning. The rotation became the baseline, the foundation, the default setting of life. Because of that, our bodies never developed the ability to detect the planet's spin. There was no evolutionary reason to sense it. It caused no danger, no threat, no change that required a reaction. Creatures who could detect the subtle rotation had no advantage over those who could not, so the skill simply never formed. It is like growing up next to a quiet river. At first you may notice the sound of the water, but after years of living beside it, the sound becomes part of life itself, so familiar that you barely hear it anymore. Earth's rotation is that river, but stretched across the entire history of life. Even now, every human born enters a world already spinning beneath them. Our bodies accept it without question. Our senses overlook it. Our instincts ignore it. The rotation is not something unusual, it is something ancient, constant, and woven into the deep structure of every living thing. This is the eighth key. We do not feel Earth's motion because we were shaped by it. The planet has always spun, and life has always moved with it, wrapped inside a rhythm older than memory. As we approach the final pieces of this quiet mystery, we are met with another subtle truth, one that hides not in our bodies, but in the environment surrounding us. Earth's rotation produces no sound, no rumble, no vibration for our senses to detect. The world moves, yet the movement is wrapped in silence. On our planet, we usually recognize motion through physical cues: the shake of a vehicle, the whistle of wind, the rumble beneath train tracks, the shift in air as something passes by. These sensations tell us when the world is moving relative to us. But Earth's rotation offers none of those clues. The surface beneath our feet is solid and stable. The air moves with the planet, and space, the vast, empty space Earth spins through, is silent. There is nothing brushing against the planet, nothing dragging across it, nothing producing friction strong enough to generate a detectable vibration. Unlike a spinning wheel cutting through air, Earth moves through a near vacuum. Space does not push back. It does not resist. It does not create wind or roar or tremble as the planet rotates. Without resistance, motion becomes perfectly smooth, a silent glide through the dark. If Earth spun through thick material, like water or dense gas, we would feel constant shaking or hear a deep, low hum. But in the emptiness of space, nothing touches the planet to produce even the faintest sound. The atmosphere hugs the Earth and rotates with it, removing the possibility of rushing winds caused by rotation itself. And deep beneath us, the solid crusts sits atop layers of molten rock that shift slowly but do not rattle in response to the planet's spin. So the rotation continues without a whisper. You could press your ear to the ground, sit in absolute silence, or float above the Earth in orbit yet still. Nothing in the environment would betray the fact that the planet is turning. The movement hides not because it is weak, but because it is perfectly smooth in a silent universe. This is the ninth key. The Earth spins in a world without friction or sound, so quiet, so gentle, so frictionless that the motion becomes invisible to human senses. After walking through every hidden clue beneath our feet, we finally reach the last and most revealing perspective, the one place where Earth's motion can no longer hide. To truly see the planet spin, you must step away from it. You must look from above, from the quiet of space, where Earth becomes a floating sphere turning beneath the sun. From the surface, everything moves with us. The ground feels steady. The air stays close. Our senses remain calm. But the moment you rise above the atmosphere, past the clouds, past the curve of the horizon, everything changes. Suddenly, Earth is no longer a place you stand. It becomes an object in motion. You can see the swirl of clouds, the slow sweep of continents, the shadow of night chasing the edge of day. What felt invisible from below becomes obvious and majestic from afar. Astronauts often describe this as one of the most profound sights they have ever encountered. Watching Earth turn silently beneath them, like a giant lighthouse sweeping its beam across the cosmos. The rotation becomes undeniable, the oceans drifting beneath the sun, the continents sliding smoothly along their path, the thin blue atmosphere wrapped around the surface like a glowing skin. Up there is no illusion of stillness, no shared motion hiding the spin, no synchronized air or gravity's quiet masking. From space, you can finally see what your senses on Earth could never reveal, a world in motion. And that is the final key to this mystery. From the ground, the Earth feels still because we are part of its motion. But from a distance, with the planet floating before you, the truth becomes clear. Earth rotates constantly, gracefully, endlessly, and the only reason we do not feel it is because we are inside the motion, not watching it from the outside. So the great stillness we experience is not the absence of movement, it is the perfect harmony of living on a world that carries us through space with such gentle precision that its vast rotation becomes a silent secret until we step beyond it and finally see. And so, as our journey comes full circle, we find ourselves standing once again on the quiet surface of a planet that never stops moving. We have followed 10 hidden clues, each revealing a piece of the puzzle how Earth can spin at tremendous speed, while everything feels perfectly calm beneath our feet. From the smoothness of the rotation, to the silence of space, to the way our bodies evolved inside this ancient rhythm, every detail points to one simple truth. The stillness we feel is an illusion shaped by perfect harmony. We live inside the motion, carried effortlessly through the universe by a world that has been turning long before the first living cell appeared. We do not hear the planet spin. We do not feel it pull. And we do not see it shift, not because the movement is small, but because it is shared. Every tree, every breath of air, every step we take is part of Earth's great rotation. And perhaps that is the quiet beauty of it. We are wrapped inside a cosmic motion so smooth, so ancient, and so steady that it becomes invisible. So tonight, as you look up at the sky or feel the ground beneath you, remember stillness is not the absence of motion. Sometimes, stillness is what motion feels like when it is perfect. If you are just as curious as I am, and your mind carries its own collection of 1001 strange questions, then leave a comment below and tell me what you want to explore next. And if you enjoy these quiet journeys through the mysteries of our world, do not forget to like and share so more curious minds can join us. Thank you for being here. See you in the next mystery.